Alright, it's been a few days. I feel comfortable going into spoiler territory now. I'm guessing many of you have fought or at least seen the new raid boss by now. I wanted to make this video to explain his mechanics and how you can easily beat him with relatively low efforts, for those of you that want to start farming him. If you don't know how to unlock him, you have to beat the DLC and then head back to the back burner and talk to Sir Hammerlock, who will be next to Moxie in her brand new scrapped together bar. Pick up the mission from Hammerlock and then head over to the burrows, and the indicator will lead you to the writhing deep. Keep in mind it does cost 20 iridium to fight this boss. Now for the fight itself. Well, this guy is pretty massive. He's a big sandworm, and like Terramorphous for example, you can attack any part of his body to hurt him. Unlike Terramorphous though, this boss hides his crit spots. You have to do a bit of work to get to them, but once you do, you'll be able to melt him pretty quickly. This boss has a mechanic where he pops in and out of the ground. There are several craters in the arena. He could pop out of any of these. As he's popping out of one, all the others act like a geyser. If you're on one of them when they go off, you'll be sent up into the air. Keep that in mind, we're going to talk about that more in a second. If you don't attack this guy for a few of these phases, let's say you get stuck dealing with ads or you're running around attempting to heal, then the boss will start to heal himself. And he heals himself up quite a bit. I've heard the lower he gets, the more frequently he does it too. So you do have to stay on top of hurting him if you're going to kill him, or you have to melt him. But the only way to do that is to hit his glowing yellow crit spots. There's one on the top of his head that you can't normally see, and one in his mouth, and his mouth is of course normally closed. Going back to those geysers, you can use them to propel you up onto the rocks along the walls of the arena. This is important, because this allows you to get up high enough to see the crit spot on his head. Once you're able to see this, you need to stay alive up there long enough for him to give you a line of sight on it. Once he does, hit it as hard as you can. If you hurt it enough, the boss will get stunned and fall over. This is when you quickly get into line of sight of the crit spot on his mouth and wail on it. And that's basically how you melt him. Now in the background you may have noticed I'm playing Gage. And many of you probably know that if you don't pre-stack Anarchyazzer, then you're not going to be farming bosses very easily. So I did pop on the bee and the conference call. It is an old combo, yeah, but it works. I didn't pre-stack Anarchy because I want you guys to see that really any character can melt him in this way. Another thing about the conference call is that it is possible to hit the crit spot on his head with it, from ground to level because of the way the gun works. I've done it before, it's how I got my first kill on him, but it's inconsistent so I still recommend getting to high ground. The main thing you want to focus on here is the mechanics I explained. Get up high, get the stun, melt him. How you melt him is up to you. Like I said, I used the bee and the conference call, but depending on the character, you could use other methods. Bee and Sandhawk for Maya, Sniper build for Zero, Sal with Grog Herald or Grog Interfacer. You know, all the stuff you guys have been used to for years now. Doesn't matter what you go with as long as it hits hard and you get the stun. He does have other mechanics and attacks. When he's about to go back into the ground, he fires these homing slag blasts. When he dives into the ground, he does this big AoE attack. Sometimes he fires this big green blast, and when it hits, it makes the area into a corrosive zone that will whittle you down very quickly. If you're standing on the rocks in the middle of the arena, he has this attack where he comes down and slams his body on you. If you're hiding under those rocks or in the tunnel you came in from, he slithers through those tight areas. This will likely kill you since you don't really have anywhere to go. So if you see him doing this, get out of the way immediately. If you're quickly getting up top onto the wall rocks and stunning him, you won't have to deal with most of these attacks. You'll mainly have to worry about his slag and corrosive attacks. The melee attacks won't be able to harm you at all. So that's it. Pretty simple, pretty easy. I was doing this at level 80 with no OP levels. Obviously, the more OP levels you have, the more damage he's going to be able to take. So if you're fighting him on the higher OP levels, you'll probably have to repeat this method a few times. But in the end, the mechanics are the same, so the method of killing him is the same. He does have some really solid drops for a raid boss. He has these 4 boxes with scripted loot. The categories of the loot are what is scripted. It seems like you'll get certain types of loot from certain boxes. Here's the loot table for him. It'll give you all the details you need. I'm not positive on who made this. I'm going to attempt to find out, and I'll either put their name on the screen with this or in the description. And I will put the link to the full loot table down there as well, of course. It lists all the new loot drops in the DLC, so I bet many of you will find it helpful. Thank you so much to whoever made it. Anyway, that's pretty much it, guys. I want to thank you all for watching. I very much appreciate it, and I'm gonna see you guys later. Bye.